What's up, guys? Matt Brown here for thelines.com, playpicks.com. Going to talk to you a little bit about Sunday Night Football. The Cowboys visiting the Rams over in Los Angeles. Before we get going, please go ahead, hit that subscribe button down there. Hit the little bell so you get notified. Give us a thumbs up, and then let us know in the comments how you're going to play this game. Interested to see how you guys see the thing playing out. Pretty interesting games, short spread here, so a lot to go over, so let's not waste any time. As you see right here over on the lines, we do have a full betting preview, so just go in, click on the football section here, and you'll be able to go down and you'll be able to find a preview for this game. What we're going to do here is try to give you all sides of everything, hopefully lead you to how you were leaning anyway, and then at the end I will tell you how I'm kind of leaning on this game as well. So let's take a look at the lines here over on DraftKings. So here's DraftKings. Let's come down here. We'll click on the game lines. Sitting at 2.5 right now. You can see a little bit of shade towards the Cowboys. This thing could reach 3, as you see, juiced to 118 right now. 51.5 the total. If you did want the Cowboys on the money line, minus 139. If you want the Rams, 123. Over here on FanDuel, we'll click on this. They are at 2. So they're actually heading in the other direction here. Cowboys 2-point favorites, 134 on the money line, 51.5, just like we saw over at DraftKings. And then over here, 2.5 at BetMGM. We are at 2.5 there. Over here on the total, you can see, yeah, they give you all these alt totals and things like that on these. You just kind of have to scroll down. It's a little bit annoying to find the 110, and there it is at 51.5 right there. So you can see that they are also at 51.5 over there at BetMGM. So as we take a look here, guys, as far as the weather, don't have to worry about that. It is in a dome over there, that brand new SoFi Stadium over in LA. So nothing to worry about there. On the Cowboys side of the ball, we know Jason Garrett is out. Mike McCarthy is in as head coach. Mike Nolan takes over the defense. Kellen Moore was retained as the offensive coordinator there. If you followed along in the draft, they drafted a stud wide receiver in CeeDee Lamb with their first-round pick. They drafted a pretty good corner in Trevon Diggs with their second-round pick to help out there. They signed Everson Griffin to help out on the defensive line as well. As far as injuries for the Cowboys heading into this one, Jordan Lewis is going to be out with an ankle injury, but that's really the only thing that's going to be going on over there. I'll click here if you want to kind of take a look at some of these little facts here and whatnot for the Cowboys and Rams. On the Rams side of things, Kevin O'Connell takes over as the offensive coordinator for the Rams. Brandon Staley is now the new defensive coordinator there for the Rams. They said goodbye to Todd Gurley, as you know, so it's going to be a three-headed monster there in the backfield between Darrell Henderson, Malcolm Brown, and they spent a second-round draft pick on Cam Akers out of Florida State. Henderson does carry a questionable tag into this game, however, so it could be Malcolm Brown, Cam Akers show if Henderson is actually ruled out a little bit later in the day on Sunday. But other than that, they are pretty healthy as well when it comes to all the players that we're actually considering playing, not the ones that have been to IR or the PUP list or anything like that. As far as pace goes for this game, guys, which you know can help with how you figuring on the total here, both of these teams played inside the top 10 in pace and offensive plays per game last season. Now, does that carry over to this season? We shall see. But again, the offensive coordinator did stay there in Dallas in Kellen Moore. And then, of course, the Rams, Sean McVay is going to do what Sean McVay does. So on the offensive side of the ball for the Cowboys, guys, I mean, like, this is kind of how we start to break down whenever we look at, you know, some of these props and different things that we might be looking at for these different players and whatnot. Elite offensive line for this Cowboys team, just absolutely elite on the offensive line for this team. Top 8 in both run blocking and pass blocking, according to Pro Football Focus. Number 3 heading into the 2020 season by Pro Football Focus here. On the offensive side of the ball as well, Amari Cooper, you know, absolute stud. That being said, he is going to draw shadow coverage from Jalen Ramsey in this one, so just something to think about. One, if you're playing fantasy out there, maybe maybe you're not going to bench Amari Cooper by any stretch of the imagination, but DFS, maybe you look elsewhere. Maybe you lower your expectations, at least from a season-long standpoint. They still have Michael Gallup. They drafted CeeDee Lamb, as we mentioned. Blake Jarwin going to be a big part of the offense there. Jason Witten out of town, so Blake Jarwin takes over at tight end. Going to be a big part of the offense there. Listen, Mike McCarthy, the new head coach, just think about this. as you kind of even look at some of these player props here as we get down to, Dak Prescott and whatnot. Mike McCarthy's 2018 Packers threw the ball 72% of the time. Crazy, crazy, crazy. 72% of the time that they threw the ball. So probably not going to go that much there for the Cowboys, but listen, he likes to pass the ball. So something to keep in mind there. Rams offense really is going to come down to, can they protect Jared Goff? I mean, Jared Goff, you can see the passing total here on Jared Goff is at 287.5, the exact same that it is here for Dak Prescott. Pretty darn good quarterback whenever he's clean. The problem is he is really, really bad when he is under duress, when he's under pressure. And so it's really going to come down to whether they can protect him or not. The Rams graded out 29th according to Pro Football Focus as far as run blocking in 2019. So they're going to have to get much, much better from that aspect, and not much better on the run blocking side of things either. If I said run blocking, pass blocking, not much better on the run blocking side of things either. They were 26th. So something they're going to need to do. Defensive pass on the back end, their pass defense can be had. It's just Jared Goff's going to need some time here, especially in the slot. Listen, I expect Cooper Kupp to have a pretty big day with this. He's going to be up against Darryl Worley, a guy that's been kind of a journeyman, got cast off in the offseason and whatnot. So Cooper Kupp has a really, really good matchup, but honestly, Robert Woods has a good matchup as well, and I expect him to run a lot of two tight end personnel, and they should be able to do well there as well with Everett and with the two tight ends there for the Rams. So listen, let's take a look here at this defensive side of the ball. What are the keys to the game for them on the defensive side of the ball? And I'll click back over here if you want to read a little bit more stuff like this about these insights and last meetings and stuff like that. Cowboys. How much pressure, like I said, how much pressure can they get on Jared Goff? Their pass rush last year was just outside of the top 10, about 11th. So really, really good anyway. And then they add Everson Griffin, should be even better. On the Rams side of the ball, they lost a fair amount of talent in the offseason and actually had some pretty good players go down to injury earlier as well. So they're not quite as strong as they were last year. And this was a top 10 defense DVOA last year. So can they live up even close to that this year? And really, they're going to need that against this very high-powered Cowboys offense here. So listen, you're going to hear me talk a lot about continuity, right? And we'll kind of go back to the game lines here. And, look, from a talent perspective, and I think that's why we're seeing the line where it is right now. From a talent perspective, the Dallas Cowboys are definitely, I think, player for player, a little bit more talented than the Rams are. But we do have continuity on the Rams side that they still have the same head coach that they had last year, and the Dallas Cowboys do not. We did not get any preseason games. It was a very weird offseason, as you know, with the whole COVID situation, and practices were just weird. Didn't have a ton of those either. So there is some continuity on the Rams side of all of this where the Cowboys might need, I don't know, maybe they need a little time to kind of get in the swing of things here, right? So let's take a look at the total. 51.5, and that's 51.5, as we mentioned, at all three books. It doesn't matter really where you play it. We'll just leave it on FanDuel while we're at it. So 51.5 right here, as you can see on your screen. Let's make a case for the over. These are two very high-powered offenses here. Dak Prescott, the rich got richer, right? You already had Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup. Blake Jarwin now is going to be a much bigger role in the offense. Then you add a CD Lamb. Of course, you have Zeke in the backfield as well, who, by the way, I didn't mean to just kind of skip over here, but you still have Ezekiel Elliott to go with that. Very high-powered offense. And you look on the Rams side, this is no joke here. I mean, Robert Woods, legit. Cooper Kupp, legit. They actually spent a second-round pick on a wide receiver as well in Van Jefferson. He might split time early with Reynolds in there, but a guy that they're pretty happy about as well. So you kind of look at this, and then you have Everett and Higbee as well at tight end for them. I mean, they're talented as well. And like I said, as long as Jared Goff has time, you're talking about a guy who's like QBR is in the high 90s when he's throwing from a clean pocket, and it's more in like the 60s when he's not. So, I mean, if they can give him time, Jared Goff can have a field day in this as well. So, that's kind of where you look. And like I said, some injuries on the Rams side of the ball. Dallas Cowboys defense can certainly be had through the air. So if you're leaning towards the over, a lot of reasons that you could lean towards the over. If you want to lean towards the under, this is the kind of common narrative that you're hearing a lot out there right now, is the fact that They expect the defenses to be ahead of the offenses for all the stuff that I mentioned about the weird offseason. You didn't have any preseason games for guys to get real reps against real defenses. You didn't have chance for them to go out there and try to get any sort of gel, any sort of that stuff. Then you also look at the fact that whenever you go into game one here, it's still kind of, it's still a little bit weird for some of these teams getting adjusted to the weird travel schedule, like for the Cowboys. There's due to COVID, there's new protocols that go in place with travel and all the different things like that. So there's a lot of people who are saying that they're leaning towards the under narrative due to all of those factors, right? The external factors that these teams can't really control. If you were leaning towards the under, I think that's at least a way that you can kind of talk yourself into the under on this due to all of that stuff. I mean, it is real. It is stuff that they're going to have to go through, and it is, it is definitely something that happened that they weren't able to play preseason games and get in full practices and get into that sense of normalcy that they have in seasons past. So if you're leaning towards the under narrative there for you on that. We'll talk the picks here in just a little bit. But let's talk a couple of player props. First and foremost, the one that I have in my account, if you want to tail me on that, over here at BetMGM, I am on the over on receptions for Cooper Kupp. I do understand that thing is juiced nice and heavy. I think Cooper Kupp is going to be a very big part of this offense. I think Jared Goff is going to have to get the ball out of his hands quickly. With Kupp running out of the slot, he runs those type of routes. He's that type of receiver. I think he's more in the 6, 7, 8 catch range as opposed to this where I only need 5. I'm okay laying the juice here. If you don't have as big a bankroll, I understand if this is something you're into. Also over on Kupp in receiving yards here. We're getting the best price over here at BetMGM at 60.5. So I'm taking the over here at BetMGM. You can see if we head over here to FanDuel and we go to Cooper Kupp, it's at 61.5. So we're getting a yard over on BetMGM. And then if you come over here to DraftKings and we scroll down to receiving yards, it's at 62.5. So we're getting 2 yards actually. And then it's even juiced to 112 over here at DraftKings. So best price and best number over here at BetMGM, Cooper Kupp, 60.5. Guys, if you don't have multiple accounts, if you live in one of these states that you can do this, I mean, I cannot recommend enough. Highly, 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 highly recommend doing that. You just go up here to US Sports Betting, find your state, click on it, and you get like the very best offers you can get for sign up. Week 1 offers are amazing. Take advantage of that. You're going to get free bets and match bets and all kinds of stuff like that. So just do that. But that's why you want to be able to shop these numbers here. Really do like Cooper Kupp going over this number here pretty good. The other one that I'm looking at here is CeeDee Lamb. This is more of a lean. This might end up in my account. I do understand that he's a rookie, but when you take a look at this, like I said, Amari Cooper is going to draw a shadow from Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey didn't have the best season last year, but he's still, I mean, historically a stud corner. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. That means they're going to be alternate receivers. And look, Dak Prescott has a ton of them, right? So he's going to be looking at Gallup. He's going to be looking at Lamb. Do lean a little bit towards the over on Lamb as far as receiving yards. And actually the better number is over here. You can see 50.5 at FanDuel. So leaning a little bit towards the over on CeeDee Lamb there as far as receiving yards. And you can see over here on DraftKings, it's at 51 as well. So we're going to take that 50 number here at FanDuel. As far as the game itself, guys, I actually got the Rams at 3. It has come off of the 3 and is now down to 2.5. I took the Rams at +3 here. Honestly, like I said, I think, player for player, I think the Cowboys are just maybe a little bit more talented when it comes to all that, but it's still a lot of factors. It still is travel. I understand it's week 1 and you're not coming off of a game, but there still is the travel for the Cowboys. There still is the fact that they're going to be on the road. I understand there's not going to be any fans and all that, but it's still just a different environment. You're sleeping in a hotel as opposed to your own house and yada, 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 all those things that go into all that. And frankly, I think the Rams are just being overlooked here a little bit of a disappointing season last year. And it's still a very incredibly talented team, especially on the offensive side of the ball. If the defense can hold up and if this offensive line can play halfway decent, then that is something that I'm looking for. So I understand you're only getting 2.5s right now, but look at DraftKings. We're on the board. We're on the border of getting this thing to 3. So if this thing does get to 3, I would tell you maybe on the Rams. If you don't want to play it at 3, I understand. Look, field goal is huge, right? We know the key numbers here: 3, 7, 10. But we're really, really looking for the 3. So I would hold out for the 3 if you guys had got there, got off of it. Looks like it could get back there as well again before kickoff. So that's where I would be on that one. On the total, leaning pretty heavily towards the over as well. Probably will end up in my account when it's all said and done. Like I said, I think it's going to be a shootout. 2 high-powered offenses, 2 defenses that I think can probably be had by both of these incredibly high-powered offenses as well. Injuries on the Rams side of the ball. The secondary for the Cowboys is kind of, if there is an Achilles heel for this team, it would be that. Can Jared Goff just get enough protection for him to be able to get the ball off and get the ball downfield and utilize all that talent that he has, not only at receiver, but even coming out of the backfield now and all that. I think that this is an over or a pass for me. I would not be playing the under in this one. I think this game has more chance to shoot out than it does to be a dud. So hopefully somewhere along the way, either confirmed one of your biases or maybe if you want to tail any of those prop bets or anything like that. Guys, we're going to be here all season, so please go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. Let us know in the comments what you think, how you're going to go ahead about playing this game. And again, as always, give us a thumbs up as well. Really do appreciate it. Head over to the lines if you need to sign up for any of these accounts, because having multiple accounts is going to save you money and make you money across the course of the NFL season. Good luck tonight. We'll be back for Monday Night Football.